Over 250 journalists, including reporters from The Washington Post, WSJ and LA Times, sign letter calling on media to stop obscuring oppression of Palestinians.
Here's a summary of the article.
An open letter, written by and for journalists, is calling on the news industry to stop obscuring Israeli occupation and the systemic oppression of Palestinians in the media. Signed by 250 journalists working for some of the world's top media outlets, the letter, published on Wednesday, accuses the mainstream media of failing its audience with a decades-long journalistic malpractice that has misinformed the public on the reality of Israel's occupation. Yet for decades, our news industry has abandoned those values in coverage of Israel and Palestine. We have failed our audiences with a narrative that obscures the most fundamental aspects of the story: Israel's military occupation and its system of apartheid. The letter calls on journalists and news outlets to meet the duty and change course immediately in terms of coverage on Israel and Palestine. Her dismissal did not sit well with many former colleagues, as more than 100 app journalists signed on to a different letter demanding answers from the company. Journalists in Australia are also facing backlash after asking their newsrooms to improve coverage of Israel and Palestine. In Canada, another letter made waves with more than 2,000 signatures from people making another call for better media coverage on Israel and Palestine.
This post received a score of 20,000, with an upvote ratio of 86%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
It's 2021 and people still don't know the difference between journalists, editors, and the media execs.
Details, I've got this one big brush that'll surely take care of things, man tipping hand.
Wait, they're accusing the media of covering up what's happening in Palestine.
It's not so much covering up, as it is playing with words to downplay it. Imagine if China was doing to Taiwan what Israel is doing to Palestine. Do you think the media would be so generous in their choice of words? Israel's brutality does not go entirely unnoticed. But press reports are usually sporadic and sparse, only appearing during especially hard military offensives, and rarely doing justice to the endemic nature of the repression.
Exactly. Word choice matters in journalism. Israel strikes app building suspected of hosting Hamas militants is a lot different than Israeli air strikes topple media building in Gaza.
There was even a leaked CCN memo urging their writers to do this.
A letter to whom exactly?
Is it me, or does 250 sound like not a lot?
It's a lot considering these people are potentially putting their careers in jeopardy. Think of all the people who believe this but are too afraid to speak up.
Glad to see that Weekly Shonen Jump is on board.
Naruto says free Palestine.
Gosh, 250? That should do it.
Is the news they aren't firing rockets from residential areas?
So liars from all different lying organizations are signing a petition to lie? Sounds about right for the US media.
I feel like I hear so much about Palestinians, and these days it's definitely in their favor.
It's basically 99% in their favor. The 1% that isn't gets dog-piled with. Why is there so much Zionist propaganda? They should talk about Palestinians.
Obscuring oppression. It's all that they're fucking talking about. Maybe at least mention all the ongoing issues in Africa. They've got a whole list of ongoing situations. Situations that include actual extermination of the affected groups.
It's super easy to cover the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Base yourself in Jerusalem or Tel Aviv, enjoy the nightlife and the fairly safe streets, write a couple of stories from your desk. This is not like reporting out of Sudan or the DROC, those places are actually not safe.
Meanwhile, Al Jazeera is praised by Hamas as professional and unbiased.
The media is obscuring this? It is all the NYT and WP report on.
They often did report on the conflict, they just often chose to cover it in a way sympathetic to Israel's government, and in a conflicting narrative from what human rights groups portray.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.